You'll never know. You'll never know what just happened. You'll never know. It was a mystery. Mystery. But you know what? That's okay.
So sneaky.
That's so we're back. We're in the after. We're in the after show, maybe. Welcome. Welcome to That Helps No One FantasyCast. My Wi-Fi helped no one just now. But that's okay. We're here. We're here to talk fantasy football. I am joined by at least two of our co-hosts. Steve Fisher. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, all of me now.
Okay, yeah, all of you. Ted Wong, you are a Browns fan, and they were winning yesterday.
Oh man, that was a game.
Whew. It was a game. I decided to trick or treat instead. So
we went to our buddy Matt Ferguson's house and handed out candy while the girls took the kids out trick or treating. And so we sat in the front driveway with the fire going, had a couple of pops, handed out candy to all the kids, scared them as they were walking away and snuck behind the cars, and then set up the laptop to watch Monday Night Football. It was a great night.
That's how it should be done.
Yeah, it was great.
That's how it should be done. Like Steve
would recommend. I mean, last year was Minnesota too, so it worked out perfect for him.
Oh, nice. Steve, your costume, otherworldly.
Oh man,
epic.
At the very least. It's no surprise that my wife has already started planning here on this first day of November. Next year's Halloween costumes, because she loves it, but she loves it for a reason, because she just she makes me look impressive. As you can see, no facial hair. Had to do it for the costume. Everyone loved it. That's the spirit of it. Whole family looked great.
I love it. Now, we should mention Chris isn't here. He was having some laptop problems. I had some Wi-Fi problems. I've got some fantasy standings problems, so everything seems to be fitting today. The Denver Broncos won. Russ can cook again. He's making the Danger Witch back at Subway. I don't think they're going to allow that to happen. I did not have the Broncos pick. Did anyone else have the Broncos pick this week to win? I don't think so.
No.
Didn't really check out for me. The Seattle Seahawks, they actually had another good game. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this, if you guys are watching this, but it seems a little bit chachi to steal some thunder when the Seahawks are doing so well. Did you guys see the Seattle Mariners try to take over the game on Sunday? Maybe let's just check this clip here.
After the play was over, sideline interference. The coaching staff of the Seattle Mariners was in the restricted area. 15-yard penalty. After the enforcement of this penalty, it will be 1st and 10.
I haven't seen that clip yet.
So good.
It was so good.
So good. So, I mean, if you're watching that game on Sunday, as many of us were, he goes and says that, and I look at Christina, I'm like, did he say this? No, he didn't. Did he say the Mariners? That can't be right. Go on Twitter. Yeah, he said it. It became a meme within like 5 seconds.
I knew he was messing up. You get to the clip and it says sideline infraction, and he kind of pauses and you can see the gears just building smoke in his brain. He's like, damn, I don't know what I'm going to say next. And I was like, something good is happening here. And I did not think he was going to throw the Mariners out there. And I was like, no, he didn't.
It was great. It was awesome. So good. That was definitely one of the moments of the week for sure.
And then Pete Carroll's reaction to it too was super awesome. He's just giggling away. He's like, yeah.
And they're up too, right?
Mariners, but I definitely was in the wrong spot. So
yeah.
Haha.
And they're up too.
He looked like Major Grant from Die Hard 2. Have you seen Die Hard 2?
No. I've barely seen the first one.
He's like the main villain from Die Hard 2, and he's like a dead ringer. I'll send you the.
There was a lot of other stuff in here. I think we had these in the group chat. Here's another clip from this week.
59. Turbo time.
You didn't play the whole clip.
Oh, there was another one.
You missed the part where he does the funny.
Oh, I don't have that one.
Well, is that the whole clip? You just played it? It stopped.
Yeah, that was it. That was the snappy hole kind of thing.
Did you see what he did in there? He starts yelling turbo set, and then he was like, Number
Coming after
55.
you,
He starts
55.
yelling 55, and then he starts moving. He's like, "Oh, almost got you! I almost got you, 55."
Almost got you 55. Yeah, I saw that clip. I thought this was the
And then
same one.
he's like, "Come blitz me! Come blitz me!" It's great.
You gotta like it when they're mic'd up. And then finally, this one was a lot of fun. Joe Burrow not having the funnest Monday night.
He's got Burrow to beat, coming back to save a touchdown.
Yeah, you don't like that. Joe Burrow's like, peace. No way.
No, that's a business decision.
Yeah, I have to look out for my family and my future, and no thank you to Mr.
Like
Miles.
he makes the business decision. You see like the fear as soon as he's like, "Uh-oh, that's Flash." And he turns around and his legs are churning, but he ain't going nowhere. And you can see like the fear in his body running language. It's like when you're running so fast for your own good that
Yeah.
you start to stumble over yourself. And he's like, "Oh man, I've seen his combine numbers. This dude can outrun me easily. Like, I'm done."
He's about to go DK on him, basically, with a lot more weight. A lot more weight.
I mean, that's a defensive player, but who cares if he's blocking? You don't want a piece of that.
No kidding. How'd you guys do in your week? Who's your main? I'm looking. Steve, you beat Chris by a few points.
I gave him a good old slobber knocking. Like, he didn't have a hope in hell in winning this week. I went full beast mode on Chris, and if he was here, he would do this.
You just
I don't care about fantasy football this year.
whatever, guys. Whatever. I've already won. It's fine.
At least he's.
Whatever.
I mean, he's back to caring about the Seahawks again, so that's good.
But a little fun fact: Chris and I decided to use our last flex spot to put up double bagel boys, which was a lot of fun. I put one up first with Rashad Bateman, and he was like, "Yeah, hold my beer. I've got Elijah Mitchell in mine." And we put up bagel boys. It was fun.
Speaking of double date bagel boys, I my stardom in confidence, Harrison Bryant put up a big bagel. I don't even think he was targeted, which is just absolutely crazy for that offense. But so that was bad advice. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I decided to go on the Malik Willis train. I figured they don't know what to do with them against Houston, and I knew they were going to go run heavy with Derrick Henry. So for all you Derrick Henry owners out there, great job. James Robinson out in New York didn't quite have the day he wanted. Van Jefferson, I was hoping would bounce back at least for a yard. Would be nice. That did not anything.
Something.
Like literally a catch of some kind. Like just a reception in a PPR league would have been just fantabulous. And in case you guys are wondering, as always, PPR does mean points per reception. Half PPR, that's when you go for the split, as we have seen. If you're McCaffrey, we all know about that. So, and we also
like to say, like, this is a perfect time to bring up the fact that, I always call fantasy football like a love-hate relationship, because there's so much luck involved with fantasy football, right? Like, this is a perfect example where Ted has probably his worst week. So Ted in our league is undefeated. He's still undefeated at 8.
Yeah, he won only by 4 though. That was a close one.
Right. He was playing a 1-6 person who put up a good week for him, but it just wasn't good enough. Ted did not have a good week. He should have lost to most teams, but it just is a good reminder for everybody that you can put up, or you can assemble the greatest teams, or have a bad week, still do good, or assemble a great week. Like, who was it? It was...
Holy, you had a nice bench this week, Ted. Khalil Herbert went off.
I had one nice player on the bench.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just good to remember those kinds of things as you're like maybe pulling your hair out because you're out of a playoff spot, or maybe, the guy you're chasing, like I'm chasing Ted right now, undefeated guy. And I'm like, yes, he's going to lose. He's finally putting up a stinker.
No.
He gets lucky. So you got to live and die by some of those things.
I am going to lose next week. I'm going to have at least 3 spots open with no starters in them. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys on bye next week. Between Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Denver, and New York. So it's going to
What are you going to do? What are you going to do
anybody who knows me know that I load up on teams specifically so that I can have one rough bye week and try to whole rest of the season. That's kind of
So
how
if you were to start like guys that are out or on bye week, that would probably be an infraction in our league.
Well, I know I have to drop a player. Like
Okay.
I can make this isn't like a careless non-start. It's a measured non-start.
I think we should all be looking at Ted's roster going into this week. What can he offer me?
That's what you should do. Yeah, I should be handing quality starters off on technicalities to the rest of the league.
You know what? Sometimes you gotta find
I did see. So a funny thing, you were talking about a week, Steve, right? You just never know, right? So I was playing in this league last year, and Ryan played in this league too. They have it's a 2-set score. So you have to play the team you're playing against, and then you also play the league median. So so that whatever the league average in score is, if you score above that, that counts as a win. If you score below that, it counts as a loss. So if you can win your week and have a bad week against the guy who had a worse week, but if you don't meet the median, you only go 1-1.
We actually had the option,
and adversely if you lose. It's very, very cool. I would definitely be down for trying it again if we did another season in this format.
We can add that in whistleblowers next year if we get a full vote of confidence on that. So that was a sleeper option. So
yeah, very cool.
And how cool is it if you're a Dante Foreman owner? Dante's peak. He peaked on Sunday for me. Did not mean a win, unfortunately, as I still lost by 24.
Yeah.
Even had I started Jimmy G, I still would have lost by like 7. So
that's the first time that sentence has ever been spoken. Even if I started Jimmy G,
yeah,
I still would have lost.
Yeah, he put up a nice 31 burger for me. Mike Gesicki, also big fan of him. He didn't get traded, so that kind of sucks. So I don't know. The Dolphins
not a big fan of his gritty though. Terrible gritty.
Oh my goodness. It's so bad.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Call Ghostbusters.
He looked like a roadrunner. It was very strange.
Dante Foreman. Did I get it right?
You're doing great.
Yeah. So he had some massive fireworks on Sunday, but I kind of want to tell you guys before we get into the Thanos stars, I want to tell you about my fireworks story, and I think Steve had a story as well. Every year, it's become tradition the last couple of years that we do fireworks on Halloween at my parents' house. We get our family, my 2 sisters, all my nieces, all of our kids. So we do fireworks, and then everyone goes inside. Grandma and Grandpa's has hot chocolate, goes over some candy and such. So once again, we did it a day earlier this year, so we didn't have to trick or treat and then leave. So Sunday night, set up all the fireworks. We get like we spend a few bucks now. We, probably put in like $150 worth of fireworks between me and my sisters and my parents. So we set up these first 3 big, they're called cakes, but like a box. So like a 24 shot massive show. And it's legit. Like it's it's the lower budget version of what you'd see on like a New Year's or something. So they go pretty high, like 50 meters, pretty awesome stuff. So we would go all that. It's very awesome. Shoot some Roman candles off in between just to keep the little kids excited. And then we're just about to go inside. And my dad hands me, goes, "Oh, I guess we save the rest, whatever we don't use for Christmas." Kind of like a cool thing right before go home at Christmas. And I looked, I'm like, "Oh, I forgot about that one." So it's a little triangle about, I'm not going to do this the way you guys think. It's about that big. And so we decided, all right, okay, so we'll put, not a heart. It's, anyway. Great show. Yeah, exactly. Something like that fits perfectly. So if you were to do that, and you understand the fit of that, if you will. So we put that down. My parents, they built on my grandparents' orchard, so nice big dirt path behind their house there, and that's where we put them all. Everybody goes and stands on like the top lawn. It's all good. Anyway, so we set this little guy down. About a 10 shot, but it has some pretty good explosion power to it. So it goes off. Dad and I walk away. Starts lights off 1, 2. All of a sudden, start shooting some sideways. And I'm not talking like sideways, like, a little bit on an arc. I'm talking like directly sideways. They start firing off side to side, start going through the orchard. One hits the big maple tree, which we were almost convinced was about to burn down. We realize things have gone horribly wrong in a very quick amount of time. So now I see one, all of a sudden, I hear one go off. Well, one had gone off like right by all of like my sisters, my brother-in-laws. It's exploding. All the kids are screaming. They're freaking out for their lives. One goes off behind me, which I didn't see till afterwards. So my reaction time was a little bit slower. And I'm looking like, oh man, this is not good. My dad and I are looking at each other like, what is going on? Then I see this one go like up the lawn. It looks like a purple, like Sonic the Hedgehog running up the lawn. I'm like, okay, all hell is broken loose here. Finally, it ends. Big white cloud of smoke. Turns out after the first two, it tipped over and started shooting every single which way. No one died. Everybody's okay. Likely won't live that down for the rest of my life from anyone in our family. My dad and I are like, well, everybody's okay, right? So typical like dad mode, like, you guys are good? Okay, let's go inside.
I was really hoping that story was like, because it was like on a triangle, that the top one shot out this like top, and then the rest of them were shooting out like on the angle of the triangle, and you just didn't put that together. That would have been
No. So they all shoot upwards, but I mean, might as well have happened that
theoretically.
way.
Allegedly.
Like, why is this shooting at me? And it's like pointing out to the side of the triangle. Like, I don't know, Dad. I can't figure this out.
It was wild. And so I texted my sisters afterwards and just said, hey, everyone, I'm glad everyone had a good time. Really sorry. I hope, no one's freaking out. Get a text from my brother-in-law. He goes, yep. His youngest, he goes, she was convinced she almost died tonight. She's like 8. So anyway, I may or may not be hearing from a principal in the next week or so. So word to the wise. Remember the JPP incident where he blew off his finger? It's not always his fault. So, sometimes accidents happen. So,
didn't seem to hurt his game that much, though. I didn't really see him get very many picks the rest of the way.
So realistically, I should probably make the playoffs this year based on that. So
basically,
checks out.
Good story. Good story.
I know, Steve. You were saying something earlier before we started the show. You had a thing you wanted to go off on.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
Some kind of a rant you were talking about, I think. Hey, there's the birthday boy, and by birthday I mean Chris.
Whoa! What the hell?
You are 2 months early, my friend.
What a way to come!
Oh my god!
It's November 1st. Mariah's defrosted. It's Christmas time, boys.
Okay, we don't need Christmas. He's back.
He just quit on himself.
You gotta come back, Chris. Come on. Somebody quickly.
Oh my gosh!
Comes in a Christmas sweater. Out of nowhere, gets kicked out. Comes back
man, come back, Chris. That was obviously he left too quickly. He needs to know. Anyway, so that was a firework. I thought you had some kind of a rant or something. So
I don't think I had a rant, but thanks
okay. Well, that's cool. Someone said they had one. So Ted, you got a rant that you want to talk about?
No.
We're losing our own.
I hate it when people get started way too early with Christmas shit. Mariah's been defrosted though. I like that. That was good.
He's we'll let him back in. I think he's gonna be mad.
It took him a half an hour to get his computer up and running.
I like the fact that he literally comes in and he's probably absolutely pissed at his computer. And the first thing he shows up with that, and we're like, no, we're not ready for this yet. So yeah. So he'll come back. So I think we need to get into.
He's kind of a grudge holder. He might not come back.
We'll be okay. He's a champion.
He hasn't traded with me in 4 years because of that Chubb trade.
He'll be okay. So without further ado, let's get into Thanos Stars. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. That's cool.
If you could see underneath that glove, he wouldn't be wearing a wedding ring anymore.
That's true. So he has one less ring. Amazing what happens in a bad week, eh? Should have waited till the bye week. That would have made way more sense. Like, oh yeah, Tom Brady got divorced on the bye week. Oh yeah, a lot of bad stuff happens on bye weeks. Ted or Steve, who wants to go first? Steve, you want to go? Who's your Thano this week?
Yeah, I know who my Thano is. I don't have a rant, but I definitely know who my Thano is.
Okay, we'll allow that.
Yeah, so we're trying to think of players who fit the bill of poaching touchdowns. When you're thinking of the Pittsburgh Steelers, you're thinking maybe Najee Harris gets back on the horse and starts scoring touchdowns again. Chase Claypool was still playing for the Steelers. Maybe him, maybe Deontay Johnson comes back to some sort of role in the fantasy world. Well, Chase Claypool was involved, and he threw himself a touchdown to this beautiful human being. If you have the clip, Ryan.
Bring him back. Give it to him.
There it is, Claypool. Throws it. Caught for the touchdown by Derek Watt. What a play call. This time by Matt Canada. And the Steelers get the break off the penalty. And they get the touchdown. There you go.
Like no one's starting Derek Watt. No one is starting Derek. So maybe the what helped was like, I don't know. People, owners are like, oh my gosh, I got a passing touchdown. Sweet. Can I start him in my quarterback spot now?
I mean, you could have, if you had like an IDP league, you could have him.
Yeah. It was also a really ugly throw. Like he gets it with his left, kind of just like, yeah, get rid of the ball. You're right there.
And he got absolutely demolished as he was making that throw too. He's back.
Hey, we gotta have a little bit of fun, Chris. Come on. If you're gonna come at us with Christmas time, we gotta come back with not quite yet time.
I think the re-add might have happened almost as quick as the block happened. It was pretty quick timing there.
It was good, and I know you had some computer problems. We lost out on Wi-Fi, so we actually started on time this week. So, despite our best efforts, we started when we said we would. So, welcome to the show, Chris. He's doing the thing that he did. You guys did this to me. I don't like it. I don't like this stare down thing.
It's like Mike's not working, maybe.
No, he's looking at me. He's doing the stare. He's doing the stare like I'm gonna hold out as long as possible. I'm gonna piss Ryan off.
There it is. There it is.
I broke the code. Man, it's good to have you. What else is on that shirt? I see cookies. Is it just the ho-ho and cookies?
Oh
and
my god, it's blinking.
Oh, it's lighting up.
Yeah.
I am.
Christmas trees down here. It's pretty solid, actually.
Oh, I was gonna say, is he showing us more than just the shirt?
Stay standing.
You tease it every week. He teases it every week.
You got Christmas trees. No. You got Christmas trees. Cookies. What else? Santa.
Snowflakes. He is a bit of a snowflake after we give him the quick
guarantee we're gonna get high ratings for this episode now.
Yeah, it's like what happened with
it.
that junk shot? Oh yeah, that was it. Fadeaway junk shot. That was a pretty good Thano. Ted, because we're on a massive roll here of absolute chaos today. Who was your Thano this week? And I'm impressed you actually got it in on time. And by on time, I mean literally like 3 hours ago. Just saying.
There's just nothing for you to do though. I mean, it's easy, right? I put the guy in there. I put the link in. It's I mean, your job is easy. You know, there's nothing that you have to do on your end. I don't know what.
You know, just because you're 8-0 doesn't mean you have to rub in like technology things on me.
For my Thano, we're going to Dallas. Your boy Dak is back. They got super elaborate on the play calling. There was all sorts of fancy schemes drawn up. He was chucking. He was looking good all night. Tony Pollard was doing his thing. Cue the clip.
They fake it to Davis. He blocks. Prescott throws. And Jake Ferguson has his second NFL touchdown.
Weird celebration.
Yeah, there was a couple of decent like Thanos. There wasn't a lot of Thanos this week, but there's a couple of decent ones. But when I saw the Selly, the hog tie Selly, I had to pick. What's his name?
Well,
again?
I had to watch it a few times because I couldn't. I'm like, wait, didn't he score the touchdown? I was trying to figure out why a guy fell, and then it took me a couple times.
Like he runs in and it's almost like he didn't realize that he was in the end zone. And then the hog tie happens. And like, I mean, this could have been like a 35-point game or more. It could have been like a 40-point game for Tony Pollard. So, and he was there too. He was in the mix. So it was kind of funny to see him go to Ferguson.
Ferguson's been on there a few times this season on our show.
At least once before. Classic 1-1-1 guy, owned in less than 1%, started in 0% of leagues. So yeah, he fits the bills of that.
I mean, yeah, if you have any business starting him again, you're in like a 32-team league.
32-team league with a 25-start player. Flex.
Yeah, one bench. Like literally, you're looking for a guy that's going to get drafted next year to add on the waiver wire. Chris, before myself, obviously. Who's your Thano this week?
Yeah, this week, taking my Thanos down to South Beach.
Nice.
They've got plenty of talent down there. Not one, not two, not three. They're like 4 guys, maybe even 5 guys that are super talented.
Great burgers.
Well done. Well play.
And instead they go to the fullback, Alec Ingold, with the classic 1-1-1. That helps no one.
Here we go.
Ingold goes over to take the snap, trying to run it in, and there's a flag down.
Well, Ingold, even though he shifts, he has to get set. It looked like he was still moving forward, so that's
offside. Defense number 24 was lined up in the neutral zone. The penalties declined. Result of the play is a touchdown.
And not only that, like, it's the absolute most lackluster touchdown too. Doesn't even get to celebrate. There's already a flag on the play. Like, guys, I got it. Nah, just wait.
It was a pretty solid spike. I'll give
It was
him
the
that.
biggest spike I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be excited if I scored my first touchdown too.
But actually, like,
Do you guys even know? Have you even been there?
Guy gets 1 touchdown a season and is like, "This is it, boys! I did it!"
Yeah.
It's
Comes
a big
home
night
like-
for Alex Ingold. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
hi,
he
did
had
you
his
see
first
that?
beer a little later.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe even his
Everything was coming up Millhouse.
Maybe even just 1 PP touch.
boom, there it is.
Oh man, I miss you.
I'll never ever forget the Justin Timberlake SB Awards. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl, beat his brother Peyton. Finally got to see a girl naked.
Good old JT. I think now the TJ Watt touchdown, was that a 1-1-1-2?
You mean Derek Watt?
Oh, did I say TJ? Like Derek.
Any
There's so
relation
many of them.
to the Watts?
It's all the same. It's all the same. Was it a 1-1-1 as well?
I didn't really.
It was not. I looked into that because I thought
Probably
it would have been just fantastic if we all had 1-1-1s this week, but
So
it was
Steve
not.
bucks the trend. So
Imagine that the guy who started the trend was the one who couldn't keep it together. In my defense, I
Way to
always
not keep it up,
players
Steve.
first. I'm always the first one in here, so I didn't know we were doing that. But
I mean, of all the 4 of us, we'd expect you to keep it up, and you can't even do that. So
To play a drinking game like it, you gotta slam a sixer every time Steve says "in my defense." Every time he starts a conversation with "in my defense."
oh jeez,
usually, like
I have alcohol
in my
poisoning.
defense, I did too.
I would have alcohol poisoning. Jeez.
To be fair,
To be fair,
I'm going in the 1-1-1-1-1. However many ones you can fit, however many things you can fit.
allegedly.
My boy, Johnny Munt. It's a Munt time.
Mundit.
Munt. I mean, if they pulled the rug under him, he'd munch the rug. Here we go.
He becomes my favorite player right there. Great block, great sell on the play action, fighting on the line of scrimmage, fighting that defensive end, and then just let.
That's a real munter right there. So 1-1-1-1-1. That helps. Just him. That helps.
He had the football's easy, nonchalant swagger there after he scored too. I feel like.
yeah,
That
Johnny Munt should have gone full Ingold and spiked that because he's not scoring another touchdown this season.
Yeah, and if he wasn't going to spike it, he needed to hog tie somebody.
Exactly. Just steal the ball and run through the tunnel or something like that. Pretty impressive, Thanos. That's okay. Let's keep rolling. Let's keep the show going. And we're going to get into sneaky starts.
You play to win the game.
Hit the wrong button. It's fine. Chris,
Still working.
if you were going to be sly, if you're going to be sneaky, who would you start this week?
I'm going with that team from Los Angeles. No, not the Rams. The other one that should still be in San Diego.
The Raiders.
Mike Williams is out, and in comes Joshua Harry Palmer.
That's where we're going, folks. This is where we're going. This is how the show is going today.
We're all children.
No holds barred. Care to tell us why?
He hasn't played for 2 weeks.
He was waiting for you to cue the video, I think.
I didn't.
No, I think my Wi-Fi cracked out for a second there. He had a concussion and then was on bye. But last time he played, he had 9 receptions on 12 targets, which that's a lot of PPR points, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you know what PPR means, but
we did bring it up earlier.
Reception?
Mm-hmm.
We did bring it up earlier.
What if it's half PPR?
That's a split, I believe. I don't have the split on here. That'll be for next week. We should get a shirt that says the split. I mean, when you think about it, that's really awkward. Why do you guys have a shirt that say the split? I don't want to get into it. It's fine.
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah. Also, what? Nothing at all. Nothing at all. So basically, Harry Palmer.
He's going up against the Falcons defense. They're giving up a ton of points and is one of the friendliest defenses versus wide receivers this season. I think they're like second worst against wide receivers this season as far as fantasy points go. I mean, we all saw it this past weekend in a very obvious Hail Mary situation. They still gave up the 62-yard touchdown to DJ Moore. Keenan Allen, they're going to put a lot of focus on him, so it's going to give Mr. Harry Palmer an opportunity to get open and put up some points.
I like it. Ted, who is the start? Who's your
hopefully
start?
He's got some dippity do on those hairy palms.
Dippity doo da. Ted, who's your start?
Me, I'm going to Baltimore for this one, and I am starting Devin Duvernay. I started him last week in my other league. He's owned in 24% of all leagues, which isn't crazy when you think about a guy like Duvernay, especially if you're heading into bye weeks. But he was started in just over 12. He had a really solid game last week. He had 6 touches, and I say that's kind of weird for a guy having touches as a receiver, but they actually used him in the run game too. So he was 4 for 4 with 31 yards receiving, and then he had a couple of carries for 33 yards. We know they're a lot banged up at running back in Baltimore right now, so they're kind of trying to be a little bit creative. It looks like Andrews is hurt, Bateman is out. We don't know exactly what's going on with the big tight end either. So for me, he's worth a start, especially in a bye week. And if it's me, I'm going to run him through my flex spot one more time because I think just that there. It's a run-heavy offense. He can be capped at times, but they kind of need him more now than ever. So Devin Duvernay be my start for this week.
Nice stuff. I have the Ravens winning this week for my pick 'em. So Duvernay will obviously be a big part of that. My start this week. This is probably the most research I've done on this show in months, if not a year.
Did you say months on purpose?
Months. No, I didn't, but good catch. Thank you. I'm telling you, I mean, you may have remembered him last season when he was good. Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas was a name that people used to know. He's been on a milk carton since then for the Washington Commanders. He is coming off of, I think he had a concussion or injury or something like that. He's been basically useless to the world and not available as well. That being said, they're playing the Vikings. In the last 2 weeks, the Vikings have given up 3 touchdowns to tight ends. They've also given up over 100 yards combined and 10 receptions to tight ends as well. So if you were going to go on a limb, I would almost put money that Logan Thomas is going to get a touchdown this Sunday, Monster Truck Sunday against the Vikings. I'm not saying that the Commanders are going to win, but I am saying that he's going to get a touchdown. And I think if you need to start a tight end, that might not be the worst guy to put up. And I mean, you get 10 yards, you get a touchdown. You're looking at a solid 7 points, which is better than a lot of the people did on my roster last week. Steve, who's your start?
I am going to do a little theme this week with both of my starts or start and add. I'm going to Jacksonville. He had a promising, trajectory at the start of his career. He also has kind of seemed like he's been on a milk carton for quite a while. I have Evan Ingram. He was featured by our, I would say beautiful, but that would be a lie, host Ryan, just a couple of weeks ago as a start. Some of you listened. Most of you didn't, which makes sense because it was
I mean,
coming.
I think I dropped him after I said start. You guys
But
should
people-
totally start him. Ryan, didn't you just drop him? I may have done that.
Every once in a while, you can hit your target shooting blindfolded into the dark. And guess what?
Yeah, we saw
Ryan-
that with Chris with his tissues a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So Evan Ingram, we all know tight end is
Even a blind squirrel busts a nut every once in a while. I mean, gets a nut once in a while.
I was actually going to use that one, and I was like, no, because Chris is probably going to say that anyway. So 2 analogies today. Yay.
Welcome back, Chris.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Evan Ingram's owned in just 49% of leagues. So, I mean, he could fit the bill for both of what we do. Last week, I believe he was started in like 27% of sleeper leagues. Yahoo, probably even less than that. And in his last 4 weeks, he's getting 10 targets, 6 targets, 7 targets, 6 targets. He's got a gravy matchup, obviously, other than his bye for the next 5 weeks. If you know tight end position is a crapshoot, you might as well roll the dice somewhere. I think Evan Ingram has huge potential to continue along this way and probably see an uptick in his targets and snap percentage. Last week he played 93% of the snaps, which is quite a bit. That's like teetering on like offensive lineman quarterback kind of levels. So his snap percentage has gone up consistently throughout the entire year. So that means they probably trade him. I'm going to start Evan Ingram.
That's impressive. Did you just say crapshoot and tight ends in the same sentence?
You have a great set of ears on you, sir.
They're huge. They're huge. You know what they say about big ears? That big ears. That's it, pretty much. That's great, you guys. So how about we get into, this is the final segment of the evening. It's last but not least, I think is how we say, sleepy ads. We might even change it to this one. That's not as exciting though. I still like this one.
You know what I say we do? We were talking about this in Hangouts while you were having some weird internet / computer issues, Ryan. I think we need to do a Thano boys trip, and we'll for sure get another sleepy Chris picture along the way.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's the easiest start of any sort of career. You go out with Chris, you're getting a sleepy start picture.
Yeah. If there was betting odds, I wouldn't even put money on it because the odds would be terrible.
Yeah, they just pull it off of the sports book. We can't take this bet. It hits 100% of the time. Yeah, guaranteed in every single country.
60% of the time, it happens every time.
That's right, exactly. Chris, who is your ad this week? Who is your sleepy ad?
Sleepy ad this week, which is maybe somewhat surprising, but it's Nyheim Hines.
Ooh.
He's only rostered in 26% of leagues, and of course, he's going from the outhouse to the penthouse, joining the Bills offense that has been dying for a competent running back. He's obviously not going to be the 3-down running back there. I mean, the early down work is still going to go to probably Devin Singletary, but he's going to be that pass catching guy. He's going to be the 3rd down back. He is going to be an absolute PPR nightmare. So if you're in a PPR league or maybe even a half PPR league where it split,
there it is.
Yeah, you'll want to go out and drop some $5 on Nyheim Hines.
I love that.
Trade deadline acquisition for the
I've had
Bills
him and dropped
Buffalo.
him like 3 times this season. So he's seen every part of my roster. He knows what I'm about. He's seen under the hood.
We have a little fun fact for us in our league. He's available in our league.
No kidding.
And by the looks of it, Christopher, you have 20 fab bucks left. Ryan, you have 22 fab bucks left. I don't have any, and Ted has 10.
Interesting. I believe a 10 gets it. Am I not? Did we not have the rule that the first 10 gets it? I think, right? You don't.
Yeah, there's no way to police that.
There is. I can just hit denied. That's corruption. Yeah.
Tyrant commissioner over there again.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm trying to hit cancel on a Naheem Hines ad, I've got bigger problems. So
You do like to veto trades, so
that's that was one time, Chris. That was one time. You're taking advantage. You're taking advantage of anyway. Steve, who's your ad this week?
I'm surprised you didn't veto that trade that you made for Cooper Kupp.
At the time, it felt right.
He goes back like 2 weeks after I've been using him.
Veto.
Nope, I want him back.
I want all the points too.
Yeah, should like create a mob meme for you, and you could be like Big Veto.
I could be Big Veto. I like
Imagine
that.
if you like took retroactive points too. Like not only do you take it back weeks later, you like go and like reshuffle the standings. You're like, there, now I'm making the playoffs. How do you like me now, guys?
Yeah, like Jay-Z said, men line women line, numbers don't, right? So
that's right.
Who's your ad there, big fella?
Like I said, I am going full tight end this week.
I bet you are.
Yeah, full tight end. Not quite like the rest of you, but
hey, don't lump me in.
This guy might shock you in terms of his overall numbers. He's the number 8th ranked tight end. You might be thinking, okay, maybe a guy like Kyle Pitts has fallen, some bigger names. We are talking about none other than Tyler Conklin.
Isn't that the goalie?
Yeah, the goalie, Tyler Conklin. He's rostered in just 15% of sleeper leagues, 12% of Yahoo leagues. He put up a 22 burger last week against New England. He doesn't have the best start with Buffalo, not giving up a lot of fantasy points next week. So I'm thinking this is a guy that you add now and you kind of hold on to him. Again, like I said, tight ends, crapshoot. Yes, I use them in the same sentence. This is a guy that will, it will pay dividends later on in your season. And like I said, the position is so hard to get unless you have the top of the top guys that you might as well, throw your hat into some race. He has a good playoff matchup as well. I know this is the time of the year that you start adding guys who have favorable playoff matchups. He's got Detroit, Jacksonville, Seattle as his 1, 2, 3 in playoffs. It looks like they're starting to trust him or at least target him more. So if Zach Wilson continues to hold his job, which by all accounts he probably shouldn't, he's looking Tyler Conklin's way. He's the 8th best receiver in standard leagues. So it's worth an ad. See what happens. Like you said, you can always drop him later. It's worth a gamble.
Yeah, I mean, 22 points in 1 week. That's like 3.5 weeks worth of work for an average tight end. And you could say that all of his ranking climb came from that 1 week. But how many tight ends do you know that have the ability to put up 22 points in a week? So I think you got to add him like that.
George Kittle did it one time.
Yeah, right. There's only a couple of guys, right? So,
but one time. I don't know. After that, I'm not sure. I'm really hoping it happens again at some point in my tenure with him. I'm going to go for my ad here. Van Jefferson. I am going on the Steve train for a second here. He was shouting him out all season last year, and he became a pretty impressive start for most of the season. Obviously, it was a big deal for that Super Bowl run. He's off the IR now. Hasn't busted out yet. I wouldn't say necessarily start him, but I do believe that they're going to start putting him in that offense again. And again, he's a guaranteed start. Once he's in there, he's going to be making catches. He's going to be getting touchdowns. He's going to be using that offense. He's going to be kind of that, third receiver, maybe gets himself up to a second receiver kind of positioning. But he's guaranteed points if they do start putting him in that. And again, you start looking around playoff time, and that's when you see those guys start to step up. I said kind of the same thing about Mecole Hardman, and I mean, he's taken off, right? I mean, they were on a bye week last week, but a guy like Van Jefferson, I do believe, is going to start taking off. Chris is really trying to find a way to get out of the show somehow. He's doing a really good job of it. But Van Jefferson would be my ad for this week. Ted, who do you got?
So like Steve, I'm sticking to a formula this week, and like Steve, I am also going tight end, and I'm doing something else
You
that's
guys
super
just
weird
wait.
for me.
I think Chris is almost there. Keep talking about tight ends. Oh boy.
Let's see the vinegar strokes.
How old are we? Ted, what's the formula?
Come on, we're talking about the league, aren't we?
What was the formula?
Yeah. What's the formula for your ad this week?
I'm going back to Baltimore for a second time. I don't think I've ever done this in any kind of fantasy pick'em, and I'm not like this proves that I'm not biased when it comes to fantasy football. So I am going back to Baltimore, and I'm taking Isaiah Likely, and I'm going to place him on my bench if he's available in your league. You should go out and get him. The guy proved that he could ball out when Andrews went down last night. Come up with some big catches, some huge yardage. I think it was like 75 yards. I mean, you can use him as a possible replacement, especially if you're an Andrews owner. I would feel good about inserting him into the lineup. The only hiccup is that they're playing the Saints. That's the number 4 ranked defense against tight ends. So that might be tough. But that being said, if you're a guy that has an Andrews in your roster and you need a start, I mean, I think you could do a lot worse than trying to go out and find somebody better than an Isaiah Likely. And I think he proved it last week with his gameplay.
I mean, just look at anyone on my roster and there's proof in the pudding right there. I think is a saying that people say, right? People say that still? Proof in the pudding? Yeah. Anybody? No?
You.
Okay. Maybe just me still? Okay.
I've never
Ryan's a big pudding proofer.
I am a big pudding proofer. I don't even know what that is exactly, but I'm very much into that game. You guys, we got through everything in one piece. Somehow everybody's Wi-Fi held up. Chris got in just in time to drop some amazing one-liners as usual. How's the hockey game going? My Wi-Fi was sucking.
It's sucking.
Yeah,
okay,
Toucher,
we'll leave it at that.
Aren't good at that.
Okay, neat. That's super. You guys were going into week 9. Can you believe it? Is it week 9 now? Week 9. That's wild. And I'm likely not making the playoffs. So our trade deadline is coming up. So
when is the deadline?
Like the 11th or 12th, I think. Something like that. So get your draft picks ready because Ryan's willing to take them. Just saying. Help me. Help
Do you have anybody on your roster we're trading for?
Heck yeah, man. I got half the NFL getting traded on my team. So nothing but love. We can talk about, Cam Akers is staying, and he's probably not going to play another game this season, which really blows. That's a wasted roster spot.
Yeah, but
thanks a lot, NFL.
It's a great team name, though. So
it is. That's true. 100 acres wood. Can't go wrong. Any final words from anyone? Anybody have any cool things to say? Anybody excited? Hey, go Seahawks. Hey, Chris?
Go Seahawks.
That's great. And Steve, you like the Ravens. That's great. Good for you.
Almost got you 55.
Almost got you. On behalf of Steve and Chris from the Ballhawks, Ted and Ryan from PP1 Podcast, this is That Helps No One FantasyCast on the Dean Blundell Network. Hey, we're still looking for a beer sponsor. Come on in. Anybody? Steamworks? Maybe Spectrum? Budweiser? Sure, why not? Just kidding. We don't want you.
I believe it's pronounced Anheuser-Busch.
If I got to say that, I don't want them on the show. That's too many words. I don't like it. That helps no one FantasyCast. Go do fantasy things. Be a winner.